Even the most critical fans of the three-body problem had to admit after watching this movie that only Christopher Nolan could bring the story's grandeur to life. The story takes place in a near-future world ravaged by famine and relentless dust storms, making life almost unbearable. Crops are failing due to a devastating light, and corn is the only plant still capable of being cultivated. To sustain food production, most people have become farmers, including former pilot Cooper. One day, Cooper's modified harvesters suddenly seem to be driven by a mysterious force converging near his home. At the same time, strange occurrences begin in his daughter Murphy's room, where books inexplicably fall off the shelf, leaving gaps behind. Murphy believes a ghost is trying to communicate with her using Morse code, but Cooper dismisses her claims until a bizarre event changes his perspective. During a massive dust storm, the sand entering through Murphy's window forms uneven patterns on the floor. After a night of study, Cooper concludes this is caused by gravitational anomalies, and the patterns encode binary coordinates. Following the coordinates, Cooper arrives at an old, run-down facility, only to be captured along with Murphy by people guarding it. They discover that the facility is a secret NASA base, operating clandestinely, because Earth's situation is so dire that even corn will soon be unsustainable. In a world already gripped by hunger, public funding for space exploration would have sparked outrage, so NASA reorganized in secrecy. Cooper learns from his former professor, who now leads the base, that humanity's current technological capabilities are insufficient to explore deep space. However, decades earlier, a mysterious force, dubbed They by NASA, opened a wormhole near Saturn, enabling humanity to travel vast distances to other solar systems. NASA sent 12 pioneers through the wormhole to explore different planets. Only 3 of them sent back positive signals suggesting their planets might be habitable. NASA now plans to send a new team through the wormhole to confirm these planets' habitability. They have 2 contingency plans. Transport humanity to a new home using a massive space station. However, this plan relies on solving an unsolved gravitational equation, which remains the biggest obstacle. As one of the best pilots, Cooper is chosen for this critical mission. However, Murphy is heartbroken and begs her father to stay, claiming the ghost in her room left a message. Stay. But Cooper remains resolute, determined to save humanity. He leaves Murphy with a watch, promising, "I will come back." Joining Cooper on the mission is Professor Brand's daughter, Amelia. After completing a successful launch and docking with the space station, the spacecraft travels through space for 2 lonely years before reaching the wormhole. To Cooper's surprise, the wormhole is not a tunnel, but a spherical structure. The planet's immense gravitational pull causes time dilation. 1 hour on the surface equals 7 years on Earth. Successfully passing through, their first destination is Planet 1. Upon landing, Cooper's team finds the planet covered in shallow water with no signs of life. The wreckage of a previous explorer's ship lies scattered, and what seems to be a distant mountain turns out to be a colossal wave approaching rapidly. Cooper desperately shouts for Amelia to return to the ship, but disagreements arise within the team. While some prioritize survival and returning to Earth, others insist on gathering data for the mission. A crew member is determined to complete the mission and give humanity a new home. As the towering wave approaches, the onboard robot manages to rescue Brand at the last second. This delay stretches into several hours, and by the time they return to the space station, a shocking 23 years have passed. The astronaut who stayed behind has aged significantly, and the ship has lost contact with Earth, able only to receive messages but not send them. The station's resources are now only sufficient to explore one more planet. The team faces a tough choice. Planet 2 is transmitting signals and is closer. Brand advocates for Planet 3, but her suggestion is vetoed due to her personal connection. She's romantically involved with the astronaut stationed there. The team ultimately lands on Planet 2. They find a hibernating scientist in the landing pod and awaken him. He explains that the planet experiences 67-hour-long days and nights. While the surface air is frigid and unbreathable, there are pockets of breathable air underground. Meanwhile, a video message from Earth reaches them via the space station. Another 23 years have passed on Earth, and Murphy has grown into an adult. She delivers grim news. Professor Brand has died, and with him, the truth about the mission. Murphy, who had worked tirelessly alongside the professor to solve the gravitational equation, reveals that the equation could never be solved without data from a black hole. The so-called Plan A was a ruse. Humanity's only hope was always Plan B, meaning Cooper would never return to Earth. The revelation leaves both Amelia and Cooper shocked, while the awakened scientist remains unperturbed, as he had known the truth all along. With limited options, the team decides to initiate the development of human embryos on this planet. He offers to assist with setting up the camp before leaving. While scouting for a suitable location with the scientist, Cooper is suddenly attacked. The scientist tears away Cooper's communication device and pushes him off a cliff. It is revealed that Planet 2 is not habitable, and all its data was fabricated by the scientist to lure others to rescue him. His true plan is to hijack the spacecraft and escape. During the struggle, both Cooper and the scientist tumbled down the cliff. The scientist damages Cooper's helmet, exposing him to the toxic air and causing him to struggle for breath. Unable to watch Cooper suffocate, the scientist removes his own communication device and walks away. Fortunately, Cooper finds his communication device and sends a distress signal. But the scientist sets a trap, killing another crew member with an explosion and stealing the spacecraft. The rogue scientist attempts to dock with the space station but lacks proper clearance. Ignoring warnings, he forces the docking procedure, triggering an explosion that destabilizes the space station's orbit. Cooper must act quickly to save it. He accelerates his ship to 6,700 revolutions per minute to synchronize with the station's rotation. In a breathtaking maneuver, Cooper successfully docks the ship, earning admiration for his skill. However, the explosion has destroyed one side of the station, and their remaining supplies are insufficient for a return trip to Earth. With no other options, they head for Planet 3, but there isn't enough fuel for the journey. Cooper devises a daring plan: use the black hole's gravity to slingshot them toward the planet. Secretly, however, Cooper knows this plan will cost him his own life. He sends alone to Planet 3 while he sacrifices himself by entering the black hole. Instead of being torn apart, Cooper experiences an extraordinary phenomenon as he descends deeper into the black hole. Cooper finds himself in a strange, surreal space, and from this moment, the film unfolds a breathtaking spectacle of imagination. This space is a 5-dimensional construct, composed of countless 3-dimensional spaces, allowing movement across different time dimensions. When Cooper locates his younger daughter, memories flood his mind, and he is overwhelmed with regret. Using gravity, he sends a message by knocking books off the shelf in Morse code, spelling out "stay," the plea he left behind years ago. However, despite this, his past self still boards the spacecraft. At that moment, TARS, the robot that had also fallen into the black hole, signals Cooper. TARS has managed to retrieve the critical data from inside the black hole. His daughter, Murphy, is the one they chose to save humanity. Cooper realizes his purpose is to transmit the black hole's data to Murphy. Here's the loop. Years ago, Cooper gave Murphy his watch. This watch now becomes the key. Cooper instructs TARS to send NASA's coordinates to his past self. Then, using the watch's second hand, Cooper encodes the black hole data into Morse code for Murphy. He believes the love between him and his daughter will help her understand the message. Meanwhile, Earth is on the brink of becoming an icy wasteland, and humanity's survival seems impossible. Murphy returns to her childhood room and suddenly realizes that the ghost who sent her messages all those years ago was her father. The brilliant Murphy takes the watch, notices its anomalies, and deciphers the data encoded within. With this information, she successfully solves the gravitational equation, ensuring humanity's salvation. As the Tesseract disintegrates, Cooper is propelled through the black hole and wormhole, eventually returning to the solar system. He awakens in a hospital bed to learn that over a century has passed on Earth. Murphy's success has enabled humanity to migrate to a space station near Saturn, where they discover and rescue Cooper. In the final moments, an elderly Murphy, on the verge of passing, is reunited with her father, fulfilling a lifetime of longing. With her blessing, Cooper sets out on a new mission to find Brand, who is alone on a distant, unfamiliar planet, building a new settlement. That planet will become humanity's future home, a new haven for the survival of the species.